Hello, my dear listeners. I'm Catherine Whitmore, and welcome back to Real English Stories, where we explore love, loss, and the quiet courage it takes to rebuild one's life. Today's story will not only touch your heart, but also help you learn natural English expressions for emotions, relationships, and self-discovery. So, settle in with a cup of tea, and let me take you to the windswept coast of another life. Her name was Clara Evans, and she lived in the quaint fishing town of Rosewater Cove, a place where the sea was never far from sight and the scent of salt hung in the air. At 34, Clara worked as a receptionist at a charming seaside inn. Her life was gentle, predictable, and by her own admission, safe. After a string of failed relationships, she'd quietly promised herself she wouldn't risk her heart again. But life has a way of ignoring our careful rules. And one spring afternoon, a man named Jonathan Hale arrived at the inn. He was in town for business, polite, soft-spoken, with eyes that carried a hint of wariness. Unlike other guests, he listened when Clara spoke. Really listened. She told him about the best coffee in town, the quietest stretch of beach, the little seafood place locals adored. And so began 2 weeks of gentle conversations in the lobby, walks along the harbour, and evenings on a bench by the lighthouse, talking about books, music, and dreams. One night, under a star-scattered sky, Jonathan told her, "Being with you feels like peace." Those words stayed with her, echoing in the quiet of her small apartment. When he left, they kept in touch. Messages became nightly phone calls. A month later, he returned, this time renting a small harbour cottage. They cooked together, danced in the kitchen, and for a time, Clara felt lucky. But one evening, his tone shifted. Sitting on the sofa, tea cooling in their hands, Jonathan said, "Clara, I need to tell you something. I'm married. I have 2 children." Her heart clenched. Questions swirled. Why now? Why not before? Why me? He explained that his marriage was loveless, that he stayed only for the children. Clara didn't know what to say. That night, she walked home beneath the cold night air, the ocean's waves sounding strangely hollow. She told herself to walk away. Yet, when his messages came, "I miss you," her resolve crumbled. She stayed, and so began a secret arrangement. Stolen hours in the little cottage, never holding hands in public, never sharing photographs, just moments in the shadows. Jonathan was kind in many ways, attentive, thoughtful, but he never left anything behind in her world. No shirts in the wardrobe, no toothbrush by the sink. And slowly, Clara's life shrank to the rhythm of his visits. She stopped seeing friends, stopped reading by the sea, stopped living for herself. One evening, her closest friend, Margot, told her gently, "You deserve to be someone's first choice, Clara. Love that hides you is not love that honors you." Those words took root. Clara began to see how she'd changed, how her world had become smaller, lonelier. When Jonathan visited again, she found the courage to speak. "I can't keep doing this. I'm living in your shadow. I need more." He looked pained, but his answer was the same. He couldn't leave his family. And in that moment, she understood this was the end. The night he walked away was filled with tears, but they were different. They felt clean, like the first deep breath after holding it for too long. In the weeks that followed, Clara returned to the things she once loved: long walks by the sea, coffee with friends, evenings lost in books. She even joined a short creative writing class. There, she met Edward, a fellow student with a quiet smile and a patient way of listening. They began meeting after class for coffee, talking about life in the simplest, kindest way. Edward never asked about her past, never rushed her. In time, Clara realized she was smiling again, not because someone had swept her off her feet, but because she had found herself. Months later, as they sat together watching children play in the park, she asked, "Do you ever want a family?" "Yes," he said softly. "One day, with the right person." She smiled. So did he. And in that small, unspoken moment, she knew love can be gentle, love can be safe, and love never needs to hide. My dear friends, perhaps the lesson here is this: love without respect will starve your soul. And waiting for someone who will not choose you is like waiting for a tide that will never return. But when you choose yourself first, you open the door to love that stands proudly in the daylight. And isn't that the kind worth waiting for? Until next time, this is Catherine Whitmore, wishing you courage, clarity, and a heart at peace.